see like a page like this, or another page kind of like this. Hold on, there we go. Or we have some others that'll show up, and they're all kind of miss the boat there. Like you'll see here, this was somebody's just appointment page that they used to to traffic. So they're driving actually traffic to this appointment page. Like it was actually a Google ad that got me there. Moving further, here's another one from somebody within our community actually. And it's just, I mean, this is probably one of the ultimate Franken pages. And then we have this monstrosity coming through that it's actually kind of hard to see because I had to break it down, but it had crazy coloration and then just all sorts of different fonts. And it just kind of was just terrible. You have attract uniquely more, ninja targeted, qualified, hot, rich, dollar emoji, and it's ridiculous. So anybody who would expect any of these things to convert really shouldn't be, because to be quite honest, all of these things miss the boat. But I always get the same question. It's always the same darn question. And that's, why isn't my page, campaign, promotion converting like I thought I would? And this is specifically in the case of anything that's dealing with landing pages from any sort of media source. And the answer is your landing page isn't addressing one of the main 4 conversion levers. And I know everybody here heard me say, hey, there's a 15-point checklist, and there is, and we'll be able to address all of these main conversion levers using this 15-point checklist. So let's break down the main conversion levers that, again, transcend industry for any type of page. All right, so we have the offer, the articulation of that offer, targeting, and design. So if you think about offer here, is it something good or worthwhile, and do they want it? And just because if you check the box here and you're like, yes, I have something great and people want it, fantastic. That doesn't mean you've sold it just yet. Just because you have something that people want, they may not want it at that point in time, right? Or you may not be articulating it well enough, right? Are you clear about the what, the why, and the what next? Really, what is it? Why should I care? And what do I do next? Then targeting, do you have the right audience in general? Do you have the right eyeballs at the right point in time, at the right stage of the value journey, going through your page, looking at your offer, and then kind of making a buying or lead generation decision? And then design, is your sequencing correct? So anybody who's a designer that's in on this, I'm probably I can get hate mail for this one, but really a lot of page design is really just breaking down the sequence in which you're articulating your offer, right? And you're doing it via different mediums, whether it be copy, text, well, copy is text, copy, images, video, or anything of that sort. So those are the main 4 conversion levers, and all that really matters. And you can influence every single one of these by using this landing page audit that'll be going through. Sounds kind of cool, right? So let's take a look at just some landing pages out there. I'm going to show 3 from kind of like the giants and kind of explain why these things work. All right, so let's take a look at Netflix's landing page. And this is one of, I think, their older ones. I'm pretty sure Jacob's going to talk a little bit about Netflix. He's going to talk about some experiments. I know he had a pretty interesting experiments on good UI about some failed tests that Netflix, or perceived failed tests at least, that Netflix had run. But if you're looking at their page, you have a desired end result, and that's actually shown twice. Again, remember, design is the articulation of your offer, right? So the desired end result here is one it's spelled out clearly with, you can watch TV shows and movies anytime, anywhere. I know what the heck that is. And then why? The why is actually shown in the image, like the image of a family spending time together. This product, the reason you should care about this is, if you like TV, you can watch it. Your family probably likes TV too, and you can spend time with them, right? So you're articulating a desired end result in multiple ways. You're setting the price point really, really early. So you're setting expectations right away. So plans starting from $7.99 a month. You have a call to action there. You have your benefit bullets, where they kind of went a different route with these, where they used the different types of tabulature on the page, which is pretty neat. And then they had short and detailed explanations for each one. So each one, they broke down, hey, here's this thing, and here's a little bit more for anybody who clicks on it. So anybody that's in more of that exploration phase, they're able to take a look. And then they reiterate the CTA again in each instance. They don't make it hard for you to take action. It's always front and center, which is really smart. And then obviously kind of their main footer. So now let's take a look at Airbnb's page. And so this is actually a monster page, and I normally build everything in Keynote. Not sure if everybody's, if anybody's like a hardcore Keynote, but I absolutely am. And so I moved this into PowerPoint. So this might not function the way I think it will. Okay, it didn't. Let me go back. It didn't do what I thought. So it was supposed to scroll down, but you can see here, they're talking about desired end result, belong anywhere. Okay, fine. We'll talk more about how these things are put together when we get to the checklist. They're trying to define the what there, but they're using the subheadline to do that, which can be a major, major bummer. You have a call to action, but then you have conflicting call to actions throughout the page. And then conflicting actions on the page as well, like, you know, watching a video versus searching and those types of things. They have a reiterated CTA throughout the page. They build trust with different sort of testimonials as it goes further down, and they have a standard footer. Thanks, Tim. Tim realized I shouldn't look at the questions. What was I doing? I thought people were going to have a good question there, but Tim was questioning my fact of not doing Movember this year, and I didn't. If anybody's seen me before with a mustache, they'll thank me later, especially since I'm on camera. Moving back in though, Uber's landing page, again, desired end result plus a benefit that's there. So your ride on demand, transportation in minutes. So they get very, very specific. Again, they're going cutesy on the main subject line and then relying on the subject line to kind of break that thing down. So they're still defining the what there. Then they have their main call to action, again, front and center. And I want to bring this up really quickly before we even move further. I know that like Nielsen Norman Group and a bunch of other people have talked a lot about how the fold is kind of fictitious, or it's whatever. The fold doesn't exist anymore. It absolutely does. That is like when people are gazing at the site and they're trying to figure out, you know, why am I here? What do I do next? And those types of things. It's just, you know, it's changed. Like the fold's elastic. It still matters because you need people to glance at a page and know what's going on. To our own point, we just ran a split test that I had to call this past week, where our form was pushed below the fold for some technical reasons. We were trying something out and it just didn't work out because everything else was the same except for where that form was placed. And especially on mobile, we saw a massive drop, around 20-30% decrease in form submissions because we made that move. So if you're hearing me say, hey, the desired end result is immediately talked about, and then the what is immediately talked about, likely well above the fold. I know these are all desktop examples so far. That stuff absolutely, absolutely, absolutely still matters. All right, fundamentals. Well, that's interesting. The fundamentals of a landing page. Let's break these down. So generally, every landing page is going to include a button or a form. That's the ask, right? So let's take a look at these three examples I showed you, right? So in any type of landing page, there's two main types. The first is kind of like a lead gen style page where you'd be filling out a form or clicking through to open up a modal to fill out a form, or clicking through just to purchase a product, but they all have an ask. And in most cases, you want to have your ask early on. It definitely helps to have the ask at the top if you're driving paid media, and making sure that that ask is consistent. All right, there's little to no navigation on the pages. You want to try and keep as close to a 1-to-1 ratio as you can. So try to knock that down. Make sure you have your main focal point. Obviously, don't break any rules so that you're out of compliance with anything of any kind. But if you're looking at Netflix, based on the entire page, there was a 1-to-3 ratio. For Uber, there was a 1-to-4, and for Airbnb, there was a 1-to-5. Get as close to as 1-to-1 as humanly possible. Keep them focused. That's the entire point of a landing page, is to keep an inherent focus on a desired end result. They need to look darn snazzy on mobile. They need to look good on mobile. They need to function on mobile. So things don't need to be beautiful. They need to function, right? Form must follow function. Sure, you can have some great design schemas put in place and make things truly beautiful, but more often than not, it needs to be straight to the point. You want to keep it focused. All of these keep this very, very focused. And know that most people are clicking ads, especially on Facebook, on their phone. They're doing comparative shopping on their phone. They also check their email on their phone. Like email is like one of the most widely used apps on a phone, right? And if people are consuming all of that there, you need to make sure it looks good there. I think probably around 65 to 70-ish% of all the traffic of digital marketer comes from paid media. It's insane. Not paid media, it comes from mobile traffic. So we need to make sure that people are able to actually reach that desired end result that we want them to hit, and that they also want to hit as well. Notice clear and noticeable headlines. Remember, there's two magic questions when you're doing these things. It's what is it? What does it do for me, right? Netflix, watch TV shows and movies anytime, anywhere. Airbnb, this one I don't like. Belong anywhere, don't get too cute. Be specific, be very, very, very specific there. You don't have a lot of time to make an impact. I remember there was I don't have it in this presentation, we had an old homepage variant where we were running like any traffic on our homepage just said, love marketing, hate boring. No one gave a crap about that. They just didn't know what we did. We actually did a 5-second test with Usability Hub and saw that, oh crap, people don't know what we're actually offering. They just know that we're kind of this cutesy headline. It was awful. So be very specific when you're writing these things out. Gotta kind of go back to the main direct response copywriting roots there. You have a clarifying but not required subheadline. In all cases, all but one case here, they're using a subheadline. I mean, I guess the plan for $7.99 a month technically is based on how it's placed, but the subheadline is generally overused by marketers in general. They try to go catch people with a cute headline and then be like, oh, but seriously, no, this is what you need to be paying attention to. You don't want to do that. They might not read that. I get it. Like the subheadline is borrowing authority from that headline, especially like attention authority. Like people are drawn there, and then you're able to, they'll move to the next spot. You can see that in any sort of heat map or session recording if they're using their mouse to read, which you'll be surprised a lot of people do. But in this case, make sure not to be overly reliant on subheadlines if you're using them. In fact, a cool thing you could do in general is just kind of switch. If you're too cutesy, sometimes you either remove the cutesy and just make the sub headline your headline, or you can just switch them. To be quite honest, in most cases, I could walk into like any kind of marketing floor. I don't know, it's a sales floor or whatever. I could talk to any marketer who's writing something and they could take a look at that. I bet a switch would actually work. A focused action that's reiterated, right? Once is not enough. You'll notice in all of these cases, Netflix, they reiterate their call to action 5 times. Airbnb was only 2 for their main call to action, and then Uber was 4 with other competing calls to action. But just because you had it up above doesn't mean that's enough. Or maybe if you have one of those sticky ones, like sticky navs that follow you with the CTA, that's still not enough as well. You need to catch them where they are and catch them where they're reading. So you can break up the experience a little bit to have that selfish little ask if you're trying to nudge them across the line. And then finally, moving into actually not finally, there's one more after this, is making sure your key content is above the fold. I jumped the gun here because I forgot if I put this slide in here, but the fold is still real. It exists. Get your content in there. People need to know what, why, and what, why, and what next, right? They don't know how to do, they can't do that in 5 seconds. You've lost them. The only way they can do that in 5 seconds is if they can see it right away on any screen. So keep that in mind. And then just staying compliant. Don't get banned. Make sure that you have everything in compliance with Google or Facebook or whoever you're driving traffic to. You don't want to break their rules because they kind of own the eyeballs. All right. So kind of going through the 4 main levers as well as kind of the fundamentals of a landing page. That brings me to why you're all here. That was my preamble to the 15-point audit. Okay. So here's the audit. It is not the most beautiful thing in the world, but let me kind of break this thing down. Okay, there we go. So how to use kind of this rubric in general. You pick a landing page. Could be yours, could be someone else's. If you're going to start using this for your own landing pages, I'd recommend trying it on other people's to get some reps in. So we're gonna do one together after I walk through this. So actually do this as I walk through it, and you'll get to kind of get 1 rep in. But you should try this on other people's stuff because it's easier to be a critic there. If you start just on your own stuff, you're gonna do one of 2 things. You're either going to be like super hard on yourself or way, way, way too easy on yourself. So then you look at each individual point. I gave them a kind of like 1 to 4. There's some cases where there's only a 1 or a 4. Those are kind of more binary. Was this thing visible? Was it not? Etc. Add up all the points. And because I had to make it tricky, you add them all up and then divide by 60 for your actual score. So generally, you have a good page, 90% to 100%, move on. You don't need to be making many changes there. All right, you don't need to make too many changes there. For B, you're kind of okay. There's things to optimize if you have other pages that you're looking at. Then you can kind of start working there, but you might want to look at other things. If you're in the C area, that's where you're going to have you have a lot of wiggle room there. Get to a D, you might just want to blow the page up completely. And I'll talk a little bit about that when I get to processes. And then an F, like absolutely just fundamentally change. But you'll see how I break this down. And this is a PDF. I'd be happy to share with the team at Zoho this audit, and they can kind of share it with everybody. It won't have like a lead gen form or anything like that. I'll just share the PDF. It's an editable PDF, but not for presentations. But I take those 4 main areas of offer, ask, trust, and visual hierarchy, and I break them out to different points. And all those points, I'll break them down into those four cases next. So let's look at factor 1, the offer. So here's how you break it down. Is it clear? Is your offer congruent to your ad or referral traffic? So are you following up on the promise made, whether it was from an email, whether it was from an ad, whether it's from wherever their source traffic is? Does the offer make sense? And is it pictured, demonstrated, and described adequately? Just showing a picture of it or just describing it with text and those things, that's just not enough. People want to see things in different mediums. That's a great way to overcome any sort of objections. So is it clear? So let's look at this product here. All your marketing in one place. And it's funny, I didn't realize I was like tearing up, like just ripping on Monday, and I use them actually internally at DM, but this was a terrible campaign. And I'll show you. So really all your marketing in one place. I don't really know what this is. Bring every campaign from transformation to execution. It's weird that they're kind of talking more about kind of campaign oriented things. I don't quite know what I'm getting here. And this is the entire page. This isn't just this is the entire page. It's like almost a true squeeze page. And so they're showing a dashboard, but all my marketing in one place. I don't quite understand, like, what's this dashboard about? Is it going to automate my campaigns? Is it doing anything? I don't know what this is. So the reason I chose this page wasn't because I was like, hey, I'm going to pick like some company and just tear them apart. I saw an ad that said simple marketing plan template that's actually easy to use. I was looking for a marketing plan because I was running the marketing department at that time and mine sucked. So I was trying to find another way to break it out. And then it brought me here to all my marketing in one place. They don't bring up anything about a template. The offer's not congruent at all. So whatever you offer in the ad or referring source, make sure it's front and center there. This is telling me nothing about it. I was really, really confused. And that's kind of what almost stemmed me creating this thing. Does it make sense? Simple or complex, it just has to make sense. Like we'll talk more about kind of the stuff in clarity and articulation here. Just don't want to have a like they went too cutesy. All your marketing in one place. Yeah, you could say that for marketing automation. You could say that for HubSpot. You could say things for other things. And this doesn't do any of that at all. It is like a Kanban board. That's it. That's all it is. And it's stylized great. And I love it. I love the company. But this is not all my marketing in one place. It's way too confusing, way too cutesy. And then their subheadline doesn't clarify at all. And get free access, I just wanted a template. Is it pictured, demonstrated, and described adequately? No. Just no. So let's break this out. So let's score this thing. Clarity, absolute 1. Scent, is there a good congruence between the two? 1. Relevance or desirability, 1. And then visualization, 2. Sure, they showed me the board. It doesn't have all my marketing, but not looking good on the offer side there. And that's actually where most people will screw up, is on the offer side. Moving on to the form or CTA. So crucial kind of asks, can you actually see the form? So can you see the ask? Is it there? Are the number of fields correlated to the offer value? So if you're doing lead gen, is the intent or the perceived value and actual value high enough for you to ask for a certain number of questions? Is the form headline compelling and action oriented? Is the call to action clear and noticeable? And if a visitor scrolls away, how easily can they return to taking that action? So can you see the form or CTA? In this case, yes, like it is right there. It actually stands out pretty well. There it is, found it. Do the fields correlate with the offer? Because the offer problem was so problematic, words are tough. The single field, sure, like I guess lower fields, whatever, but I don't think I'm going to be getting value from this. I'm looking at this of, if they just need my email address, I'm just going to get a bunch of emails. My guess is they ask us for more stuff after the fact, but I don't know enough about the offer at this given time to even give them my information. Is the form headline compelling and action oriented? No, No, not at all. I guess get free access, cool. Get free access to what? I don't know. There it is, it stands out. But also I want to point to a slight tangent, and I know I only have about 6 minutes left, so we'll get through this. Slight tangent, anytime someone talks about the button color or whatever it is, like yellow is this, orange is this, green means go, blah, 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 blah. It's stupid, don't do that. A button color just needs to stand out, and needs to look like a button. Here's a cool tool, we can do that. Use to go to color.adobe.com. It'll tell you and break things down by triad. You'll start seeing things where they point out there. Do that, never ask that question again, it's silly. Okay, back to this. So if a visitor scrolls away, can they easily return? In this case, there's nowhere to scroll, so they can always see it. There's other ways to do it with reiteration as well as sticky CTAs. So let's break this down. Visual form, yes, it stands out. Appropriate number of fields. I was hard on this one, but since this is binary, I'm gonna say that I don't know what the offer actually is going to provide. So for email address, cool, whatever. Compelling form headline, not quite. They need to kind of give more action there, but I do like what the CTA is on the button. Visible and noticeable, yes, it stands out right away. Okay, let's talk about trust. Crucial trust questions. Are there relevant trust icons? Are there non-anonymous testimonials or reviews? Are there clear privacy policies? Are there any relevant guarantees? Are there any return policies listed if you're in kind of the e-com space? So are there relevant trust icons? There's icons. I don't know if those are customers, if those are people that have talked about them. I don't really know. Does it make it easier if you use one of these tools? They're there, but they're not terribly relevant. Are there any testimonials? There's no testimonials here. Make sure when you have testimonials that they follow a fairly similar formula where it's like, show the person, where they're from, what they do, especially in the B2B space. Make it feel like they're a real person. Go figure. We do still care about privacy, and so do ad platforms. So make sure you have clear terms of privacy policies up there. Most users are pretty hyper focused on privacy right now, despite our willy-nilliness to just sign in with our Facebook account. So make sure that stuff's clear. And are there any guarantees? In this case, guarantees don't make that much sense since there's really kind of nothing up for grabs. And return policies as well. There's no return policy needed really there. So this is one of the weaker sections. The logos are ambiguous and don't build as much trust, but they have a really professional design. Remember, what is beautiful doesn't always convert, but it definitely helps. You don't want a page that looks like it was built in someone's weird basement. So you don't want that. Are there relevant trust icons? I think they could have expanded on this a little bit more. They don't have any testimonials. It would have been cool to see somebody from Uber being like, hey, this is where we kind of get all of our marketing projects done, and clear privacy policies. Now, nothing there. So finally, visual hierarchy, so your design side. So the crucial questions here: does the page layout maintain the ad sense? So if you're using visual ads, does it look like it? Are the page elements and layouts competing with your primary CTA? So is the focus on the primary CTA? And is the most important content easily visible? Pretty easy stuff. Here, does the page maintain AdSense? No, there's nothing. There's a mention about templates in the ad and then nothing else there. If they can't even get the text right, how are they going to I hope their visual ads had something better there. Are page elements layouts competing with the primary? No, I think they work fairly well here. Everything kind of stands out within terms of proper coloration, in terms of focus. That looks good. Is the most important content immediately available? Yeah, they kind of know what to do and how to make that judgment call. So let's break this one down. Using visual cues to highlight key areas. They could have probably made this go into a wider area, because if the wider the area is, the more your eye is drawn to it. So they could have gone that route. I think that's why I scored that a 1 when I drew this out. But it does have a singular theme. I do like how the page design works there. And supporting imagery, it's still just the inside of the tool. So it's kind of a bummer there that we're not getting kind of more detail into what this thing is, especially if all my marketing is in that one place. So here's kind of the final score and the breakdown here of the entire thing. And one thing I like to do is I like to kind of chart this out where the perfect page would look like the blue line. And this is what this page looks like here. So it becomes very clear that there's two main areas that need to be worked on, right? The two main areas that you need to be working on are kind of the offer and as well as kind of the trust side of things. So both offer clarity and offer itself in articulation, and then making sure that people are going to want to take action. If we had time, I would have gone into more of a this is us all working together, we would have actually looked at this brand here from it was a messenger chatbot solution, and we kind of break that down. I'm actually out here, so I want to kind of give you the action items that you need to make sure that you can apply this in your business right now. This was just to give you another rep. So kind of here's how it breaks down. Pick a page that's getting traffic. So pick a landing page that you want to work on. Complete the 15-point landing page audit for both desktop and mobile. I bet you're going to see some wildly different things there. Depending on where they land, if you score below a 60, scrap the page completely and just kind of rebuild. If you're scrapping it, if it's below a 60, select a new landing page template. The reason why like landing page builders are so successful and why they generally work is because they use templates that follow common practices that people are used to using. I know, and we can debate this all day long, but it tends to work better than that. Don't try to make Franken pages like the ones I showed you earlier. If you're doing an iteration, create a variant with element changes. You can run a test on those. If it's so bad and it's performing so poorly, you might not even have to run a test. Launch and troubleshoot during your early stages. And if you're testing kind of 5, 6, and 7 or what matters there. But I'm out of time. I know in the chats there's a few things there. But if there's any questions, I'm not sure how the rules are with questions and these things, but I hope you guys are able to get value of this. Happy to share the template with you. I'll talk with the team at Zoho, but I had a blast putting this together, and this is actually my birthday, so it was kind of cool being here with all of you. Kind of cool being here with all of you on my birthday, kind of sharing the stuff that I like the most, which is kind of marketing, landing page optimization, testing, and those types of things as well. That said, you can reach out to me at JT Rondo with questions. You can also, and you can do that on Twitter, or my email is justin@digitalmarketer.com. If you have questions, want slides, want whatever, there it is. And Tim, I won't be at Conversion Hotel next week. I am super, super bummed out. All right, thank you everybody. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of the show.